Hello everybody, welcome to part 2 of sight reading. There's so many different things that one could talk about with sight reading, but I would like to just reiterate what Abby said last time, which is to leave out all the superficial detail and just get what I call the skeleton of a piece, so that you really understand how the piece is constructed, what the main tunes are, and all the other things, the articulation, the trills, dynamics you can add later. People often say, look at the key signature, look at the time signature. And I think apart from looking at it, you actually have to feel it for a little while before you even start playing anything. So for example, let's say this was your piece of sight reading, this piece here. And you can see it's in 6/8. So what I would first of all do is actually just feel a 6/8 pulse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. For at least 2 or 4 bars, just to kind of get the feel for what the music's going to be sitting on top of. One thing I'm quite keen on is being able to recognise a pattern of rhythms as a little unit. So what we just had was one of those. So you had, for example, da 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 da. That's just something, if you can see it and you know that's how it goes, then you're done and dusted for that whole bar. Here's a pattern of dotted rhythms, which goes da 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 da. In this study in 4/4, there are some quite useful rhythms to recognise. This one is one of them. So if the beat is 1, 2, 3, 4, that rhythm is dum da da dum. And this rhythm, which says con espressione underneath it, goes dum da dum da dum. And here's another one, the last bar on this line, dum da da dum. So I hope some of those rhythm patterns were useful. I'm now going to talk you through a piece of sight reading, which I am also sight reading myself, so I've not seen it before. So here we go. So here's the piece. It's a study. In fact, it comes from a book called 100 Classical Studies for Flute, number 49. And the first thing I would do before even picking up my flute is look at the time signature, look at the key signature, but particularly the time signature. Now it's in 3/4 and it says tempo di minuetto, so you know that ultimately it's supposed to sound like a minuet, which I would think is the precursor of a waltz. So roughly 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. But if you scan all the way through, you'll see that there are some quite tricky little bars here and here. So this is what I'm doing now. I'm thinking, okay, that's quite hard, so I think maybe I should try not to sight read it at that speed. So maybe a better speed for sight reading would be something where I can manage all those little fiddly notes. Not that I'm going to put them in the first time, of course. Like 1, 2, 3, 1 and 2 and 3. So my semiquavers will now go ya da 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 da. I think that would be quite manageable. Now I've looked at the key signature. It has 2 sharps. And I think it's in D major. It looks like it's in D major because the first little section ends in a kind of D, it's like a little D arpeggio with lots of ornamented bits on it. I think it probably will go into B minor at some point, but eventually go back to D major. So I'm expecting lots of D major kind of notes. Plus, if you notice here, there's a B sharp and a G sharp and an E sharp. So oh, and I think there's a missing bar line there, so I'll just write that in because that bar would have far too many beats if it was in 3/4. So I'm just going to write that in. Okay, now I'm thinking about the actual rhythm of bars 1 and 2, and I'm thinking da 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 dum da dum. That's one of those dotted rhythms we had, the fast dotted rhythm and the slow dotted rhythm at the beginning as well. Okay, so just starting to read that a bit now on the flute. So here's my first take without ornaments. 2, 3. So just stopping there, we'll just have a quick look at the ornaments. The last one I just played before the repeat should be played as half the value of the note because it doesn't have the little line through it. It's an appoggiatura. The other ones you tuck in, so bar 2 you'd play and the same in bar 6. And all the others are okay. So now I'm going to play it through up to there with the ornaments. 2, 3. So why don't you have a go at the rest of it? You've got it there, so having started you off as it were, that might be quite a nice sight reading challenge. I hope this has been helpful. See you next time.